There was an Apple event, and it was it was awesome because the commercial that they did was weird. So Apple, the computer company, whatever you want to call them, I love Apple. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I've got an iPhone videoing this right now. Hey, I've got an iPad. I've got a MacBook that's almost 10 years old. It's actually approaching 9 years right now. It's very, very old. And I love Apple so much, so I actually watch the events in full. And it's usually just they're releasing new products or new, I don't know, softwares, things along those lines. So this event that they had May 7th, and it was really just focusing on iPads kind of exclusively. And the commercial they did was very funny and scary. So let me play it real quick. It's called Crush. I'm not going to play it with any sound because copyright strikes, they're getting real, and it's awful. But it's kind of this hydraulic press, and it's just like pressing in on all these like different types of objects, computers, music related items, like creative art stuff, and games even. And what it's trying to do is it's trying to say, like, you don't need all these things. All you need is this very thin iPad. But of course it was funny because some people were like, if there was a hydraulic press crushing an iPad, the camera bump wouldn't be flat because it sticks out. So yeah, make that make sense. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. But then it has this like face, this like smiley face that's being squished down, and its eyes are just like popping out. And that's creepy. I wasn't a big fan of that. Okay, I kind of was. But then they talk about what's being released in the Apple event. And yeah, so it's a new iPad. Well, it's two new lines of iPads. The iPad Pros and the iPad Airs. And the iPad Airs are supposed to be kind of your mid-tier iPads. And then they came out with the bigger size. So there's an 11-inch and now a 13-inch. And so if you wanted a bigger iPad, now you can get it for cheaper because it's not as good of an iPad. But technically it is still good because they're using a very good chip in the processor for the iPad. And so cool. Yeah. So if you want a bigger iPad now, you can pay less for it. But it's not like it's even cheap. It's like $800 starting. So it's still, it's pretty expensive. Then the iPad Pro, now they come with OLED screens, which if you know anything about the TV world, you want OLED screens. OLED is very fancy. OLED is very nice. OLED everything. And yeah, an 11-inch and a 13-inch. And they made these things super thin, which is funny because, I have an iPad. I got this like probably over a year ago, and it was refurbished on Amazon. I paid like 600 and something for it. And it was, an iPad Pro, and it's an 11-inch. And, I'm looking at this right now. I'm just like, okay, you tell me. Is that super thick? Because, I love this thing, but I'm going to tell you this right now. My biggest complaint about this iPad has been that it is seriously too thick. Like, I can barely grip this thing. I can barely hold it. That's how thick this iPad is. It's just like, man, I wish I had bigger hands because it's just too thick for my hands. I needed something thinner and lighter. Also, this thing is too heavy. This iPad is just, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm lifting weights right now. That's how heavy this iPad is. It's scaring me how heavy it is. Thank God I only have the 11-inch because if I had the 13-inch, probably would have broken an arm by now. Busted a tendon. I don't know. But in all seriousness, I love this thing. It's got 4 speakers, 2 on each side. And it's got 2 cameras, which by the way, was taken away with the new iPad Pros. So they raise the price up, they take a camera away. Apparently they've taken like a microphone away. Like there's just different things they've taken away. But the screen, this isn't OLED. The one that I have is not OLED. So it's a crappy screen. I've always loved the screen. I've thought it's been great. Whoever owned this iPad before me, God bless you, because it's a great iPad. I love it so much. And what do I do on my iPad? Well, sometimes I'll edit these YouTube videos. I've done that before, and it does it super well. I'll also, gosh, what else? I watch a lot of stuff like YouTube, Netflix, whatever streaming platforms are out there. I read on here, so I'll do like the Kindle app, and then Libby has the audiobook, so I'll kind of read a book while listening to it at the same time, flip through the pages. And so it really forces me to keep up and to not get distracted, because I got to keep my mind on high alert. Do I game with this? I don't really game. I am thinking about this, though. I have all these games that I downloaded on my iPad, and I'm like, well, Netflix, if you have an account with them, you could play games for free. Well, it's not free. It's included in the subscription. So maybe I should just stick with that, because they seem to have some pretty good games on there. Well, yeah, the point is, this iPad is fine. I don't think I need something fancy and new. But the issue right now is people want to make their iPads their computers. They want to make it their laptop. And it comes with a very fancy keyboard case attachment. Sorry, it doesn't come with it. You'd have to buy it separately. It's like $300 to buy this thing, or $350 if you get the bigger iPad. It's extremely expensive, and so they updated that thing too. And now it has aluminum on the inside of it, and so then it feels very nice as you're typing and all that kind of stuff. It has a trackpad, all that, but that I guess makes it feel like a computer. But people aren't happy with the software that comes with the iPad, and they didn't do anything to improve that. And so it's really sad. But I would say, sadly, one of the things that would probably convince me the most to change to a newer iPad is the fact that, here, let me get my trusty iPad again, is the fact that the camera, gosh, I'm doing this the wrong way, sorry. The camera has always been, no, I'm doing this the wrong way again. The camera has always been on this side, and it really should have always been here. That's what would have made me change. But is it worth all that money? And so I think I'd rather get like a refurbished iPad in a few years, again, from Amazon, because I love Amazon refurbished. So Apple. Yeah, and then it's like, oh, well, you got to get the new pencil and all that kind of stuff. I got like a $30 knockoff, and it served me very well. I can understand, though, if you like, if that's like your line of work and you have to do drawing with your iPad and all that kind of stuff, certainly, do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, this $30 one, it charges the same way the other one does, just magnetically on the iPad. It works amazingly. I'm sorry, I haven't seen the need to get anything nicer than that. So call me a freak if you want to. So, but, in June, Apple's going to have WWDC, and they're going to tell you what these iPads can do with the software. And maybe it can end up doing some cool stuff. So, we got to cross our fingers for that it's going to turn out pretty good. If it's like so amazing and it's exclusive to the new iPads, then they might have sold me. I might actually get rid of the beautiful iPad that I already have and get the new thing. But it's hard for me to want to right now.